we're going to go to www.yearbookavenue.com. Be sure to log in to your 2021 account. I want to begin in the digital classroom. The digital classroom is full of great things, but this is what I wanted to show you today specifically. I know it isn't likely that you're going to remember everything we cover today because it's a lot, but I do specifically want to point these videos out because they're here to help you if you can't remember how to do something. All right, let's talk fonts. I love them. Specifically, I love a font family. I'm going to search here for Foundation Sans and pick a couple of those, but I want you to go ahead and set your fonts up early before you start doing your designs. This is more important this year than ever. The reason for that is because we're going to use styles. I'm going to show you how to set one up, and then once we get in and working on the page, I'll show you why these are so fun and why they're going to make your life so much easier. I'm going to set up a headline style. Start by naming your style, whatever you'd like to. I chose Learn to Use Styles. Then choose your category, your font, your point size, and save. The page ladder is going to look familiar, but once we open up into Layout Pro, you're going to notice a few differences. What I thought I would do is design a spread for you today and kind of walk you through how some of these things work. Hopefully you'll be able to pick up on some of the differences and some of the fun new aspects that we have for you to try. And if you have any questions, you can always just shoot us an email, or if you're watching this live, you can pop it in the chat below. Now you'll notice the Arrange palette is still up, and that's because I pinned it in place so it wouldn't move. I can now place that anywhere on this page of the spread that I would like it to be, so it's handy but not in the way. If I want to put it away, there's an X, I can click that and it will close. The first time I opened Layout Pro, my first thought was, why did they put everything on the left? I'm so used to everything being on the right. But I've gotten used to it. This program is designed to mirror many of the aspects you're going to see if you're working in professional software like Adobe. So students can get used to this, and it takes them one step closer to knowing how to use that professional level software when they leave your classroom and go out into the real world. back open a new style now, and you'll see me struggle with this a little bit. You can turn this using your Shift or your Alt Control key a variety of ways. And I'll be honest, I'm still figuring it out. You can have it toggle from the center, which you're seeing here. You can also have it toggle where one corner stays in the same place and everything around it moves. Watch this. The corner's anchored there, and I'm just moving the remainder of the box. But I'm going to fiddle with it until I get it like I want it. Another fun new element that text can do this year is you can move the text to the top, the bottom, or the center of the box. Let me show you how to do that. It's on this Align tool. Just like you can left or right justify, now you can also add it to the center, the top, or the bottom. I'm going to put it on the bottom and scoot that up. That keeps the extra space in the text box off of my photo. Let's pop some text down here, although it's not what I want. But that's okay, because we can change it. Just like always, you can change the fonts, you can change the sizes. As I type, one thing I want you to notice is the red underline. I'm a horrible speller. Kim makes so much fun of me about it, rightly so. And I'm so grateful to have an automatic spell check. So what this is going to do, it's going to underline any word that's spelled wrong. And when you're done typing, there's a spell check feature, which will then walk you through each of these underlined words and let you approve them or change them. What I like about this is that there's no guessing. That red line is going to make it very obvious that you have not yet run spell check and you need to do so. Portrait Flow looks a lot different this year. You're going to find Portrait Flow elements in the Art tab. And then you can start with the name under the portrait to the left or to the right. And at the top, you're going to see I just opened a tab, which I then pinned and moved to a location that was out of my way, that will allow me to adjust the number of rows and columns. Now, because I have that automatic button clicked, it's going to adjust it to the size needed for that many rows or columns. If I change the size of the text, it's going to default change every text box. If I turn that automatic feature off and change the rows and columns, you'll see that the boxes stay the same size, but we increase the number of columns, and therefore the space taken by those boxes is larger. I can also increase the spacing between boxes, both vertically and horizontally, which will be a great option if you would like to include, say, a baby photo or a quote. Names can be below, on the left, or on the right. And if I double click, I can then go in and actually hide specific boxes. And you'll notice when I hide the box, the name also goes away. And this would allow me to go in and fill in that space with, say, a candid photo. Now, in this case, as an advisor, I might look at this and think, oh, I hate that. There's way too much space in between all of those photos. So I'm going to add a comment that says, I don't like how much space is between the panel flow boxes. Tighten those up, please. And I'm going to apply that. And now you'll see the little purple bubble alerting the user that there is, in fact, a note there for them. And if I come over here and click this little box, I can see the page 11 has a comment that says, I don't like how much space is between those panel flow boxes. And your student can then make a comment back to you and say, okay, I'll fix that now. Two new fun elements about image upload is that we have the option to both drag and drop and to upload directly from your Google Drive. So I'm going to show you how to do the Google Drive upload. You just need to link to your account, give it permission, and then you can pull a photo directly in and upload just like you would from your actual computer. The pop-up box you're seeing now is the same thing you're used to seeing when you place a photo on a page that's already been used somewhere else. You're also going to see here that one of the images that I try to put in a box doesn't fit. So while most images turn green when you hover over the blue image box, this one is going to turn red. It's a warning to let you know red means stop. Don't put this picture here. It will not fit. If the program were to allow you to do that, despite the fact that the image is small, it would print very, very grainy. So this is just to save you so that you don't accidentally print something that's poor quality. In this case, I have chosen to choose another picture. Another option would be to make the picture box that I already have there smaller. Once you have your picture placed, if you double click it, you can actually zoom in or move that picture around within the box. You're going to maintain the aspect ratio of your photo box, but adjust the photo within it to fit better. Now I'm saying yes, and I'm allowing these photos to be duplicated, but that's because I have used these same photos for other sample spreads. In a real life scenario, you're probably going to want to say no, you don't want to use that photo, and try a different one instead. In a minute, I'll show you how you can tell before you ever even place it on the page whether or not it's been used elsewhere. Portrait flow is something our team normally does for you, and we are still more than willing to do that. It isn't hard, but it's also not hard to make a mistake, and this is not something that you want to risk messing up. This year, portraits are going to be totally different because of COVID and because of schools not operating the same way they always have. So don't stress about this. When the time comes, we will help you, and we'll make sure this happens for you. If you remember back a couple of minutes ago, before the photos were flowed, if I double clicked, then I was given an eye icon that allowed me to remove certain portrait boxes. Now with the portraits flowed into those boxes, if I double click, what I'm going to be given is an option to crop that image. This might be really important this year as we may be looking at lots of student submitted portraits. We don't know if they're all going to be cropped the same, so this is going to give us the freedom to actually make that work for us. Let's talk about Snap to Grid. Some of you have already encountered this when you've had a hard time getting things to align. Snap to Grid allows things to move in larger chunks rather than in tiny points. If you go to View, Snap to Grid, you can toggle this feature on and off. You can see here that when I first moved this image of this young man, it moves in teeny tiny little movements. But if I come up and turn on Snap to Grid and try again, it moves in much larger movements. If you ever have trouble getting things to align, try turning off Snap to Grid, and you'll have a lot more control about placement. All right, now for the fun stuff. Snap Edit. Kids love this. I love to let them play with it to their heart's content when they're doing a page that's all about them. But when it comes to the yearbook, Sometimes less is more. I like to tell them that just because they can doesn't mean that they should. So if you're going to use these features, I would encourage you to only use the ones that are specifically tied to your theme or to the look you're going for to the book. They don't have to use everything on every page. One of the things that I really want to point out is that when you do make a change in Snap Edit this year, that change is going to be automatically applied to your page. You do not have to find the second picture and place it on the page yourself. Two things to remember as you play and learn this program. The first is that those digital classroom videos are there, so please go visit them if you have any specific questions. And of course, you can always reach out to one of our team. The second thing is that there's a history. So if something happens that you don't like, we can undo it. Not a big deal. Don't be afraid, just dive in and have fun.